Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to Team Radd Titan, and today we've got a pleasure for you all. We are going to be reviewing the XM Studios Spider-Man 2099 prototype. We've been blessed by them sending it in to us to review, give our thoughts on it. This is very, very early stage prototype, so we're going to be running through what we think, talking about it, giving you the skinny, the up and down, so stay tuned, yeah?
All right, everyone, we're back. As Gio was saying, we are looking at the Spider-Man 209 prototype from XM Studios. This is sent across. I work for XM, so I needed to do a few videos. And first of all, yeah, we do Radd Titan, first of all. So we thought, you know what? We're going to do some videos. I didn't even ask them. So we'll see how they respond to them being posted. But anyway, so... You know, this piece turns up, obviously this was shown, this was actually ready for Singapore Comic-Con last year, but it wasn't shown. And it was just like final tweaks being done and final approval, and it just didn't make it in time for the con, and I was actually really disappointed. And I remember Rebecca was quite disappointed too. It's Cisco. Check out her channel, definitely one of my favourite people in the whole community.
Yeah, cheers.
So this piece is Miguel O'Hara, and it's set in the future. It's obviously 2099.
Was it 2099, was it?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So it's set in 2099.
Not just a clever name.
Yeah, and it's this is actually the trade paperback of that. This makes up the Spider-Man 299 1 to 10, and it was written by Peter David and
Future Imperfect fame.
Yep, and then also this is illustrated by Rick Leonardi and Kelly Jones. The base of this is, even on the front cover, this isn't the original front cover because it's a foil cover, but you can actually see one of these, like one of the drones that the kind of authorities ride around on.
So
it's just at the bottom there. It's like one of those, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's clever.
This piece again, this
not
was
just a hat stand, my friend, eh?
Yeah. His first appearance wasn't actually in Spider-Man 299. It was in Amazing Spider-Man, I think 365, with the black cover and the foil. So what happens is the character is he works for like a pharmaceutical company, and they're researching.
Like my wife.
Yeah, and they're actually researching into Peter Parker. He actually then I think cracks the sort of genetic code and manages to be able to replicate that. And what happens is he then realizes the pharmaceutical company he's working for is a bit shady,
corrupt.
So he ends up getting infected himself. He has different powers to Spider-Man though. He is actually blind. And he does actually sort of see very similar to, so he's not blind, he's just very, very light sensitive. Like very, very, very light sensitive. So he covers his face.
Call that something, I can't remember what that's called.
Photosensitive.
Photosensitivity, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and also he has fangs as well, so he actually feeds on people that way.
Wicked.
He also has claws.
Them on his hands.
Yeah, he has claws as well. Yeah.
Which actually XM have done really, really well. I can't remember if Brian One's had those. Don't believe they do. Does he have them?
Yeah, I believe so.
They look really good. They look quite prominent there.
Yeah, yeah. Also on the character, he has these like fins that come out his forearms, and then he has all the kind of detailing on the suits. So what we do is
they
again
look smaller than other ones, didn't they? The fins on his arms, the blades.
It's not about the size; it's about what you do with it. You know.
That's what people with small fins say.
Yeah, not about the size, yes.
Believe me, the people with the big fins don't say that.
It's motion of your ocean. Also, one of my favourite things about this actually was when I put it together. It's almost a shame that you don't see it. Is I do really like that part there underneath. Hopefully, you can see that where there's like a turbine underneath, and I think that's done really, really well. This piece actually goes together at the moment, not been engineered yet, but it's the base with the vehicle on there, and then it kind of has this piece that comes out with the propeller, and then this piece sits on top of that, and then Spider-Man goes on top of the pieces like that to hold it all in place.
I never knew all the concept pictures that this was like a vehicle.
It's hard.
I never knew that. You know that. I saw all the pictures. I never realised it was like a hovercraft sort of vehicle.
I think that one of the problems with
cool though, man. It's much better
when you kind of look into the pictures. Again, because they're like a 3D. Statue, which is then put into a 2D representation, it's almost like you struggle to make out what it is a little bit. But yeah, it's one of
this
the
is very clear that it's a vehicle. This is what I'm trying to say.
I know, but when
I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's so obvious that it's some form of vehicle, flying vehicle. Why? Yeah. When I'm looking at the pictures and the renders and all this, I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is. What is he fucking jumping over a building? What is that? Is that a shipbuilding? What is that? And then now it's like this, you know, you've got all these fantastic, you know, metallic parts, engines, wires. You've also got this weird ratchet-like thing where it's connected to the actual turbine propeller system.
Well, the turbine,
very clever.
the turbine and the arm are, I don't know if they're part of the, they're meant to be like a
Yeah,
part
you can
of the
see it's
vehicle,
there.
but it's kind of like...
No, it's there. It's those.
Yeah.
Those bits
But
there.
the way it's been is kind of broken.
It
And
hovers
bust.
like that. Obviously, they adjust and move.
They're more by the side,
Yeah,
but
that's
this has
right.
kind of been like more damaged and pushed into the vehicle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can see that it's like indentations landed on it, and it's gone smash into the side of it. But it's clear that they go either side of it, and maybe they turn and adjust to to move it. It's very clever.
There's no actual real clear images of them. You can kind of see them here. I don't know whether that's going to come out on camera. George will do some pictures of that.
Pictures for you.
And then other than that, there's a few.
It's funny because it actually looks from this position. It looks like a what do you call it?
Like a jet ski.
Jet ski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it does. If you look at it like that, that kind of thing there.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool, man. But it's just strange how in photos I never understood it was a vehicle.
I didn't know what.
I might have said like, what is he on?
I actually wasn't sure of the representation of the reference of it until I got sent this by Marcus, one of my friends on the groups. So he basically sent this across, and he sent it across for George, and I never gave it to George.
Yeah.
So I've kept it myself, and George does that all the time anyway.
Yeah.
And so basically, I started to read through it, and then as soon as I looked at the cover, I'm like, "Holy crap, that's the base!" You know, it was quite funny the way that it didn't really. Click until I saw it like that.
Honestly, how dumb are we? What does dumb fuck mean?
Then you move on to the figure. AXM, we've kind of gone for more of a duller look, like not duller, but like a more grotty look. So it's more like he's more functional and it's more weathered. When you look at something like the Prime 1 version, it's more like a real electric blue, real strong reds. And the colours do pop a lot more.
It's almost a luminous.
This is kind of,
like luminous. It's almost like these are metallic blue paints that have been used on the body, but they're
more subtle.
They're more subtle, and the shading is darker, so it sort of disguises it a little bit more, but not in a negative way.
No.
And I actually really love. I mean, obviously we're all over the place on this review as usual because we got excited, but I really love the chest and the body.
Coffees too.
Yeah, I really love the chest much more. The chest plate and the stomach, because that's like 3D. See how it's like almost diamonded out. You understand? It's got like points.
Tapered?
So yeah, I don't know what the wording you'd use. I mean, on the Prime 1 one, it's on top of the body, but it's flat, and this is like all angled, smooth edges, soft edges, and then hard ones. And it just looks fantastic. It looks really 3D when you look at it head on, and at the side here, as it's about to turn towards you, you can sort of see how these really capture the light, these edges, and it really does bring that torso, which is slightly turned in because of the pose. It brings it to life, which is really clever. They've done the same with the head, with the eyes things. But yeah, really nice, man. I like the blue on this too.
Yeah, and then also you got the texture is from the smooth. And as you do use a smooth, because a lot of companies now are going for like the smooth is still texture.
Breaks up that paneling lovely.
And then you've got almost like rash guard, Under Armour kind of texturing on the other elements on there. Even got the soles of the feet done as well. Loads of detail. And then you go onto the cape. Again, this is just still being engineered and things like that. So we're still looking into the material to use for the cape.
I think that depicts very well. It's very close to the comic book, more than the other one.
I don't want to turn this into verses or a bitching, because it'll be hard as well, because the Prime 1 is finished and this one is still in production. It's still being engineered and things. But my Prime 1 cape, it broke when I got it. And then when I look at mine now, my second cape fit perfectly. And I checked it the other day, and it's warped over time and it's actually out of the back, so it's not actually doesn't fit anymore, and I'm going to have to get a hairdryer to make it fit.
Yeah,
I'm terrified to do it because of the way it's so brittle.
I sold mine, right? So I got a replacement. I believe you hooked me up with a replacement, and the one that was on it, as I was taking it off for the person that was buying it, who was there as I was taking it apart, and it
was that Marcin?
Yeah, it was Marcin. Yeah. and it absolutely deteriorated in my hands.
Disintegrated.
Yes, it absolutely turned into dust. As I went like that, it just like went, whoosh, and then I felt kind of bad that I gave you so much shit for being careless with yours. Because believe me, I was I knew that you broke yours, and I knew to be careful. And as I was doing it, I was maneuvering, went like that. I just went, shh. It was like a film.
Crumbled. Yeah.
It was like a film. You know,
when
you pull something out of the water and
shh. It was like in Interview with Vampire where he goes in the season, like when and touches them in the dust.
Yeah.
It's almost like that happened to me.
The material, whatever they used for the Prime 1 is not a sustainable. It was a bad choice.
It was almost like it was a 20-year-old piece of plastic when you got it. You know, that's how brittle it was. So we are still looking into the correct material to use.
Kind of like the colour on this, but it's white rather than
and we've gone for that kind of, the white looks so kind of...
I like it because in the comics it looks a bit more like it's white than it's clear.
Yeah, it's, it's different. I mean, it's different drawn. I mean, there's more of a grey there, so there's more of the webbing.
But that's what that looks like. It's like a whitey grey.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I like the understated, because this actually when you look at it, this is really difficult. This is a very difficult pose to give somebody to sculpt, because you got one leg, you got the left leg sort of bent underneath him and sort of hidden, and he's sort of leaning on it, and then you've got the right leg out extended, you've got his body twisting and bending at the same time, his arms slightly behind him. There's kind of a lot of movement here. Do you understand what I mean? There's a lot of contortion in this body. It's not very straight. And I think that he's done a really good job. I like the sculpt work on this. I like the size of him. He looks athletic, he looks agile, he looks muscular but not ridiculous. I just kind of like it.
I think there was a big thing at the time about this being...
I hated this at concept level.
I think there was a big thing about this being the first Latino superhero.
Yeah?
I think so.
Viva la raza.
I believe so. I might be wrong. But also this then comes with an unmasked portrait. And one of the things with this is, I mean, I know this is the prototype, so... getting to the kind of production level. If it's painted like this and the hair separation is done
as good as
this, I think it's a very good one. And I do love the way now that a lot of statue companies are doing this, where characters' teeth are not brilliant white. And I think that's probably the best way to go. I mean, no one, I don't know, unless you go to the dentist and get them whitened extremely, then there's always going to be a slight off colour to them, and I think that it looks really well.
Yeah,
you can disagree if you want.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. These teeth look more of a real colour. They look more of like an enamel-based sort of colour. I would like to see more separation in the fangs. The lines need to be a little bit more prominent for me, because he's got fangs and I want to see them.
Yeah, they need to be a focal point, for sure.
I think it needs a bit of that. Eyes look good. They've got these piercing blue eyes, but I agree with you, the hair is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's got all sorts of little bits spiking out and coming out individually. You can almost see almost every strand there, which I really like. It's coloured very well. Sang's painted this, hasn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a nice paint job on that, so he's done.
Also, you've got this nice sort of porous skin as well, and you've got the kind of like the frown creases in his head there.
I like that they did a proper unmask, that they didn't do that mouth thing. I really don't like that thing where people do that with Spider-Man pieces, It's
a bit of a little cop-out, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. They have half a mask and just show this bit. I really don't like that at all.
Let me find an unmasked and see whether it matches, because I ain't done that yet.
But yeah, it looks good, man.
I'm trying to find it.
It's got a nice flow to the hair. He's got a lot of aggression in his face. He's got, the wrinkles above his nose and the top of his eyebrows. Just the teeth colour are absolutely fine. Just really want to see a little bit more pronunciation in those.
I dress like Spider-Man all the time.
A lot of the time they're not unmasked, dude. A lot of the time.
That's not a good one. It's got like it's all shadowed over. Some of the artwork in is really bad. Look at that.
Yeah, that's not
well bad.
It looks like you drew that.
Damn, man. Something in the 90s, they got away with some shit. There you go. That's probably the closest you're going to get, is that.
Let's have a look.
That's the closest you're going to get. No other...
Okay, yeah. I can see some similarities, yeah. I can see it. I can see that.
Yeah.
I'll take some photos so you can have a little look, but yeah.
I'll remember the page.
Yeah, page 80. It's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just tough, really, because a lot of the 90s stuff, I mean... what they got away with in the 90s is they did absolutely fantastic covers that brought you... me and George fell for it. They drew us in.
Oh, yeah.
We then picked up these covers, which we thought were fantastic, like these foil covers.
Worth £1 million
which was a foil cover. And then you end up like getting it and opening it up, and the story is absolutely dreadful. And literally 45% of it is adverts. Yeah, for Top Trumps and what was the other thing, like Pop Tarts and Top Trumps.
Yeah, all the time.
But
Pop Tarts are horrible.
yeah, a lot of American candy and like stuff. They use like corn syrup and everything. And what we're gonna do is measure this. So this is.
You're right though. He doesn't appear very often without his.
The tallest
with
part
his
is going to
uniform
be
and bare
the
face.
cape at the back. So that's going to be around 17.5 inches, which is about 45 centimeters. You're going to need for that. Then, as I come around, the width of this piece is going to be that part there and there. So you're probably going to need about 17 if you're displaying it that way. Probably 16.5, depending on how you angle that. So about 43, 42 centimeters. And then the depth of this, I think his head sticks out the most of it, or that gun.
Yeah, it's got to be that.
So that is there to there is about 13.5, which is about 34 centimeters.
What's the width on it that you said? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but it doesn't go into detail.
I
put it in detail, and it was literally like that. His head just touching.
Oh,
It was really, really close.
yes. I like it. I'm surprised. I really didn't expect to like it because upon concept pictures, rendered pictures.
What do you think they could do better then?
Okay, so
Well, you said the teeth.
it's very. I definitely want to see more pronounced in the fangs.
Yeah.
Like they're sort of like if you look close, you can see, but I don't want to see that. I'd probably want the blades a little bigger. You know, I'm not one for you're not the size of the nail, it's the size of the hammer. If you have a hammer and a big nail, then
that is one of the
you're
things
on the
I do
staff.
actually like about the elements in. I mean, how big are they here? Do they change?
See, the thing is, I would always trust XM. See, they're not big. They're around
Yeah,
about what
yeah.
they are. They're right. They're right, but
What's about the back page? Show the back page. Yeah.
see, they're right.
Lift up, show that picture.
You can't
Yeah,
argue,
yeah.
and I would trust them that would be right.
Well, XM gets scrutinised much more than other companies.
Yeah, well, that's why I wouldn't
yeah.
think of them being wrong. I kind of like. I mean, in terms of improvements, it's hard because I know this is very early prototype. Like when I carried it in the room compared to where the
You don't need to worry about weight.
No, I know, but I know, by the weight of it, I know where it's at. I know this is very early because it's lighter than the more finished Nightwing.
Well, the Nightwing, yeah, I think that Nightwing.
This will be heavy because just the size of this and the size, it's going to be very heavy. So I was, I mean, I really love the sculpt. My only things I would say is I would probably want the reds on him a little bit brighter. I would probably say I'm really happy with the blues, but I think that more of a duller metallic blue with a really bright red is going to look fucking sick. And I think dull in the red is a little bit too much. So I would brighten up them reds a little bit. After looking at those pictures, leave these alone because they're right. It's just I think aesthetically as a statue would, but it would look quite decent and being quite spiked up.
But the reason I like them on the Prime 1 version is they remind me of the Guyver.
Yeah.
Guyver 3.
I hope that they keep with this colour type of thing with that. I hope they don't go clear resin looking with that because it's almost invisible. I kind of like it. It adds a lot more sort of separation and a break from the colour scheme that's on it.
Contrast.
So I'm digging that a lot. That's pretty much it. I think in terms of everything else, I think it's really fantastic. It's at a fantastic place already. I love the blades and the things under here. There's lots of different colours and things going on.
I was actually really surprised.
Really good.
Really surprised that this was $3.99 edition size.
Yeah, but
Really
again,
surprised.
it sometimes as well. It's like I looked at it and I didn't understand what he was on.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. Like, you know what I mean? It's only when you actually look at it, you're like, oh my god, it's a vehicle. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. I mean, other than brightening up the reds and there's not much really I would say. I think it looks fantastic so far.
What the? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it when it's moving because you always miss the point.
I miss the point all the time. All right.
Yeah, it needs that brightness of the red just to break it up a little bit. Again, with those beautiful sort of dark metallic blues, that bright red will really pop. I think it needs to be lighter, but other than that, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I really like this.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at render level at all, and I was like, mate, Prime 1's, it is easily superior.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be when this is finished.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'll find that online where I've said that publicly, so you'll see what I'm saying.
Well, I think the thing about that XM do really, really well is the fact that when you go to a convention and you look at their prototypes, they're normally very good. And then when you see the production is normally better than the prototype. And a lot of companies will do that the other way around, where they'll do the old bait and switch, where the prototype will look absolutely amazing, painted by the pro painters. I'm not saying Sang's not a pro painter. He's a
you
pro
suck,
painter.
Sang.
But he'll do it to a level of he'll know what the factory can deliver, and that actually takes a skill in its own. I know Mike Nora does that really well as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do the usual, guys: like, comment, subscribe, share, ring the bell, all that business. If you want to see more content like this.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to be part of the channel, let us know, and we are trying to get more people to show their room tours, or even if they want to do a little review for us. Or even if you have a channel and you want to share
and
some content, we'll promote your channel for you.
Happily.
This is all about sharing, all about community, and it's all about, we got to where we are because of other people. So we would like to kind of share that and reciprocate, and do the same and try and help people where we can. So
let us know what you think about this as well.
Yeah.
What your thoughts are, where its strengths are, and what you think its weaknesses are, and what you would like to see changed, if anything, because this is the time to speak. If you say change the pose and things, then I would delete every word, because it's at a stage where you ain't going to get that, but you might be able to get some colour influences in there, maybe some subtle changes, but you're not going to get big dynamic sculpt changes at this stage. So don't be like, well, I would put his leg up his arse and then put his hand across his chest. There's no good saying them sort of things. It just can't be done.
I'll tell you what I would like is what I've seen on other statues is. This looks like some kind of exhaust.
Yeah,
I would like that burn. I'd love, that's one of my favourite things, like on the Sideshow Thanos and
got like that sort of.
I think it was a HMO Mega Man.
Yeah.
He has like a rainbowy burn on the metal where the heat comes through. And I think if that is, if I am right, and that is
it does look like an exhaust.
Yeah, that would just like, it's just one of those little things like that just kind of give it a little kick, and a little take
Yeah, I
it to
agree.
the
That's
next level.
a great shout. Yeah.
But that's just something, just seeing it. I think all these cables are great. I think, lots of elements on this I really do like. And thanks for watching.
Peace.
Peace out.
What's his real name?
Miguel O'Hara.
Miguel O'Hara, yeah. You ready?
Peter David.
Creator.
Written by Peter David.
Yes, he's a creator.
Well, the first appearance isn't this anyway, but illustrated by Rick Lenardi.
Don't care about that.
And Kelly Jones. Kelly Jones is quite famous for Batman, isn't he?
Know that name, yeah. Put it down. Concentrate. All right, here we go.
I just wanted to check his name, but I can't see. I was looking at something well retarded then.
Go on.
I was like, when is this meant to be set, though? I really was. I mean,
do that in it, like from Naked Gun.
When is it? I mean, I swear it says somewhere in here it's in the future, but when was it?
Yeah.
2099 gives it away a bit, doesn't it?
Give you a hint.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, fucking cock knock, yeah. Yeah, fucking.
That McDonald's is that car crashed out, I was kicking in.
I know it well, like Lethargic, innit? Right, let's liven this shit up. All right, here we go.